On my 10th anniversary, I found a used condom in the bedroom. I finally had proof Jason was cheating. I wanted to confront him, only to see that my best friend's Instagram wallpaper was a photo of our bedroom. In that instant, I knew exactly who he was sleeping with. I asked for a divorce on the spot and left the country. Jason, who once looked at me with nothing but disdain, finally regretted it. Before we go on, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Staring at the used condom on the carpet, I had to admit my marriage had failed. Today was Jason's and my 10th anniversary. I'd cut my business trip short to fly home early and surprise him. When I landed, he WhatsApped that he was exhausted and going to bed. Yet when I walked into the house, it was empty. Only that crumpled condom lay there, as if mocking me. Early this morning, Jason had called to say he'd ordered flowers. I'd been surprised. He isn't romantic and rarely spends money on things like that. When the bouquet arrived, I was stunned. Lilies. The flowers I hate most. Tucked inside was a card. You smell so good. I want to breathe you forever. Seeds of doubt sprouted instantly. Jason never talked like that. I was about to call him when I noticed Stella had posted on Instagram. The photo showed my favorite deep red roses. Caption: the top nationwide florist chain, FTD Flowers, is so thoughtful. Buy one get one free, and you can pick the delivery city. Except I only bought one. At the time I hadn't understood. Now I did. Jason was cheating with Stella. He'd sent me flowers in the morning because of the buy one get one. He'd kept them a buy. I was the get one free. The card wasn't meant for me. It was meant for her. Probably the florist mixed up the envelopes. I zoomed in on Stella's post again and realized the background was unmistakably our bedroom. The last shred of hope evaporated. I gave a soft, bitter laugh and hurled the velvet jewelry box I'd been holding. Once, the mere sight of another woman near Jason would leave me insecure and frantic. I'd spiral into hysterics, half crazed. But tonight I was strangely quiet. It felt as though a suspended weight inside me had finally crashed to the floor. I no longer feared losing anything. At last, I was certain I didn't love him anymore. Lost in that thought, I heard noise at the door. Flushed and breathless, Jason pushed it open. Seeing me, he panicked. Honey, you're back. I sat motionless in the dark, watching him. He couldn't meet my eyes. Drunk. He nearly tripped, kicking off his shoes. His feet dangled over the edge of the sofa. Sorry, babe. I didn't mean to lie. CEO Bennett called about a contract. Ask him if you don't believe me. I gave a flat, dismissive grunt. He blinked, then forced an awkward smile. I know it's our anniversary. I thought you were away, so I went out. If I'd known you were coming home, I'd never have left. I arched a brow. I WhatsApped you. You never replied. His face darkened. Then he produced a strained grin. He claimed he'd forgotten. What he didn't know was that while he spun that lie, Stella was uploading non-stop. Some shots were in a bar, others in a car. They kissed under strobing lights. Fingers laced across the dashboard I'd paid for. Stella's caption: finally found you. Thank God I never gave up. Those posts were aimed squarely at me. Too drunk to sit up, Jason sprawled half-conscious on the sofa. His phone kept dinging. He frowned, too scared to lift it yet unwilling to let it out of reach. CEO Bennett again. Aren't you going to look? He shook his head, feigning calm. Whoever it is, I'm off duty tonight. My only mission is celebrating with my wife. Sure enough, after a man samples forbidden fruit, he turns extra sweet. Before, I would have forced him to show me every message. Now, none of it mattered. The next second my own phone rang. Video call from Stella. I picked up. Her teary face filled the screen. Evelyn, I'm so sad. Comfort me. I smiled faintly. What's wrong? My boyfriend's not here. I miss him so much. But he won't pick up or answer. He's busy keeping some pathetic housewife company. Wouldn't you be miserable? She sobbed theatrically, eyes sparkling with provocation. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Jason go rigid. Sweat beaded on his forehead. It's past midnight. If you're not sleeping, my wife and I would like to be. My man's not home, so I have to ruin your night. Cry me a river. I'm not just calling. I'm coming to your place. Wait for me. She hung up. For a fleeting second, I saw anticipation in Jason's eyes. They used to bicker like cats and dogs. Even now they were still playing that tired routine. The biggest joke was me. I'd actually believed they couldn't stand each other. Turns out the bickering was only foreplay. I was just a prop in their game. When Stella arrived, she flung herself into my arms. Evelyn, you have to stay with me tonight. I'm depressed. I need company. What? You're stealing my wife? Jason snarled theatrically. If you sleep with her, what about me? She just got back from a trip. I finally have her, and you think you can waltz off with her? They argued louder and louder. In the past, I'd have stepped in to mediate. Tonight I simply said, I'm tired. Fight it out yourselves. They both stared, stunned. When I walked into the bedroom, Stella trotted after me like a puppy and flopped down beside me. I'm cuddling Evelyn. Scram. She had shown up in pajamas. Now, lying down, the loose camisole left half her chest exposed. Though my eyes were closed, I knew they were making eyes at each other over my body, but I really was worn out, and with my mind a mess. I don't know when I actually drifted off. Sometime after midnight they started their little game. Stella slid to the far side of the bed and snuggled into Jason's arms. Jason scolded lightly. "You've got guts. Asking to sleep here. Aren't you afraid Evelyn will notice? You drug her every night. She's dead to the world. What's to fear? Besides, this is exciting, don't you think?" My heart froze with a disappointment that quickly iced over. I've always slept poorly, so I usually take some melatonin. 2 weeks ago Jason brought back a new bottle. Said a friend had mailed it from overseas, and it worked miracles. From the first pill I dropped off the instant my head hit the pillow, then stayed groggy till morning. I thought it was just strong. Turns out it wasn't melatonin at all. He'd switched them for sedatives. No wonder I'd felt something was off. Clearly they've been at this for a while. Maybe Jason had drunk too much and forgotten I hadn't taken anything that night. Soon the familiar soundtrack began, muffled moans, his ragged breathing, her kittenish sighs, the mattress creaking in rhythm. Every creak stabbed my eardrums. I itched to flick on the lamp and catch the two cheats red-handed. But this wasn't the moment. Only when dawn crept in did they straighten the covers and separate. Stella even reached over to pat my arm. My whole body stiffened and I instinctively shrank away. Both of them froze. Jason's voice quavered. "Babe, you're awake?" I mumbled something without opening my eyes. Jason exhaled in relief. "Still early. Go back to sleep." I gave a small nod and kept silent, every muscle taut, unwilling to touch either of them. They felt filthy. When their breathing finally evened into snores, I slipped out my phone and moved the footage from the bedroom camera to my cloud drive. I hadn't slept a wink. At 7:30, hair and makeup done, I walked out of the bathroom. The table was laden with breakfast. Stella, still in her apron, flipped eggs at the stove. She greeted me with a sunny smile. "Evelyn, you're up. Come eat." She looked every bit the mistress of the house. I stopped beside the table, my gaze drifting until it locked on her wrist. "My bracelet. Why is it on you?" I arched a brow and stared. Jason's hand jerked. He shot her a murderous glare. Stella glanced down, momentarily blank. "Oh, this? It's only a knockoff. Can't compare to your real one. I can't afford the genuine thing. I wasn't lucky enough to land a rich husband, but my boyfriend says he'll work hard. One day I'll have everything everyone else has." She capped the remark with a pointed look at Jason, pure expectation. I set my chopsticks down and drawled. "Funny. All these years as best friends, and I never knew you had a talent for being the other woman. When do I meet this boyfriend?" Her smile cracked. Anger flashed across her face. "Evelyn, the only real third wheel is the one nobody loves. Jason and I truly love each other." The shamelessness almost made me laugh. "Will he marry you?" "My darling says marriage is love's grave. He's not rushing to bury himself twice." Jason cleared his throat, warning her to shut up, but Stella wasn't wasting her chance to needle me. Too stupid to quit. Then again, if she were smart she wouldn't have posted all those jabs on Instagram or shown up in the middle of the night. "Look at you, Evelyn, so pretty when we were young. You married too early. Now look at your skin, your figure. If we weren't besties, people might think you're my aunt." She tittered behind her hand. "I'm blunt, don't take it the wrong way." I swung my palm and slapped her. She yelped. I studied my reddened hand, winced, and rubbed the sting away. "I've got a short fuse. Don't take it the wrong way either." Jason sprang to shield her. "What's wrong with you? You know how Stella kids around? Why so touchy? You barely have friends. Stella's the only one who visits. And you toss her aside. What exactly do you want?" I laughed coldly. "Isn't it obvious? Game over. I want a divorce." Jason looked as though the words hadn't registered. "Divorce? You're divorcing me? Problem with your ears now." "Yes, divorce. Clear enough?" I spaced the syllables like hammer blows. Jason was stunned. In his mind I was hopelessly in love. How could I file first? But the word was out. He sneered. "Tantrums have their limits. Don't let online poison get to you. A little jealousy, just say so. Playing hard to get won't work on me." Same old tune, whenever I was upset. He never reflected. He decided it was simply my latest scheme to win his heart. Even the time he rolled home reeking of perfume after a night with hostesses, letting one of them text me on purpose. He only shoved me aside. Every man plays. "If it bothers you, I'll drop her. Quit nagging. You're being childish." Yet one girl vanished. Another appeared. On and on. At last I saw him clearly. Before I could speak, Stella piped up with a fake sniffle. "If I'd known Evelyn would flip, I wouldn't have come. It's my fault you fought." "But Evelyn, Jason and I are nothing. You're not angry just because I said your skin is bad and you're fat, right? That's not Jason's fault. Blame me. I know. I've no filter and I've offended tons of people. We're best friends. Are you seriously blaming me? Jason snorted. Ignore her, she's just dramatic. I shoved him away. So how thrilling is it? Banging your wife's best friend right beside her? Buying my roses with my money? Sleeping in my bed? And with my husband? Do the two of you think you're something special? At those words, both of their faces went paper white. They started stammering. What are you talking about? We didn't. No. I held up my phone and gave it a little shake so they could see the saved security footage. Keep pretending if you want, but don't tell me you really thought I was some lovesick idiot. Jason lunged to snatch the phone. I sidestepped him. I uploaded copies ages ago. You'll never delete them all. Finally, he tore off the mask. Eyes vicious. Yeah. I cheated, but you're not blameless either. Look at yourself. If you looked half as good as Stella, would I have to go out and find someone else? What man doesn't want a gorgeous figure on his arm? Someone he can show off. Haven't you heard? A wife's face is her husband's glory. Taking you anywhere is just embarrassing. I laughed, furious. Jason, you're shameless. Say whatever you want, Evelyn, but do you actually dare divorce me? The way you look now, with that pathetic little paycheck, who else would even want you? Watching his face twist while he spoke only convinced me I was doing the right thing. I couldn't spend another day with a man like this. Jason, search your heart. The reason my career stalled? Who was it for? I couldn't be bothered to argue anymore. I grabbed a small suitcase and walked out. I knew him too well. After everything I'd given, it had all become his due. So even with proof of the affair shoved under his nose, he wouldn't willingly sign anything. Once I left the house, I headed straight to the mall and bought several new outfits. A few fresh pairs of shoes. I stocked up on skincare and makeup, the whole sets. I even swung by a spa. Then I rented a condo in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. Looking at myself in the mirror, I felt a flash of disbelief. For years I'd lived for the family, for Jason. Turns out loving yourself feels incredible. Just then my laptop pinged with a WhatsApp alert. I snapped out of it. It was the lawyer answering my message. She said a divorce suit this clear-cut was easy money, and because our home system had audio, it had recorded Jason and Stella talking about swapping my medication, possibly a felony. That would weigh heavily in my favor when we split the assets. My mood lifted instantly. I flopped onto the bed and slept like a baby. Next morning I put on one of my new outfits and headed to the law firm to meet the attorney. But the second I stepped outside, who did I spot? Stella. I treated her like air and kept walking, but she called after me. Evelyn. I stopped, impatient. Stella, what could you possibly want? She strode up. Evelyn, we need to talk about that video. What's left to say? You snuck around with my husband behind my back. Don't cry now that I might post the proof. Suddenly she switched tactics, pressing her lips into an innocent pout. You've been gone for days. Jason is worried sick. As she spoke, the fresh hickeys on her neck flashed like neon signs. Disgust hit me. I instinctively pinched my nose. Worried. Worried enough to decorate your throat. Come on, Stella. How long are you going to keep this soap opera going? The last episode in our bedroom was already pretty bold. Practically a XXX feature. Honestly, your figure's great and your nerves are steel. I really can't compete. Before the words had left my mouth, Jason stormed over from nowhere and slapped me across the face. Family shame stays private. Enough. Evelyn, get back home now. I swung right back. He towered over me, so my hand came from below. He stared, stunned, for several beats. We're not family. You two mangy dogs. How dare you come near me? Lay another hand on me and I'm calling the cops. Jason, humiliated, forgot every scrap of dignity. Bitch, don't push me. I lowered myself. What more do you want? Keep it up and I'll put you in the ground. He screamed like some gutter thug. Once again I knew the divorce had to happen. Stella clutched my wrist, refusing to let go. Evelyn, please, don't release that video. I beg you. Just say the word and I'll break up with him. You two can patch things up. I gave a cold laugh. Used goods. I don't do hand-me-downs. Jason's hand shot up again, but Stella stopped him. I looked at him one last time. Dead serious. Jason, I will never, ever look back. Divorce you. I'm only moving up. A few days later my lawyer told me she had drafted both the divorce papers and the petition. If Jason refused to sign, we could file immediately. I didn't hesitate for a second. Take it straight to court. I knew he'd never put his name on that agreement. Everyone saw how I'd sacrificed my career and sweated through the tough early years, facts no friend could miss. If we divorced now, the whole world would brand him an ungrateful bastard. Even without publicizing the reason, people would assume he'd done something unforgivable. Rather than wrestle with him, I'd let the law speak. After briefing the lawyer, I received a corporate transfer, a new project in Denver, Colorado. The order came from Paula, the mentor who'd hired me into the industry. Back when I'd given up promotions for Jason, she'd sworn she'd wash her hands of me. You've got to hit rock bottom before you realize love isn't everything. Every woman needs her own career. I hadn't listened. A few days ago, hearing I was leaving him, she swung by my desk with a coffee and some subtle words of comfort. I stood and hugged her, eyes stinging. She patted my shoulder, equal parts scolding and maternal. Life throws punches, let them knock you out, and you'll only give the world something to laugh at. She'd fought to land me this assignment, a chance to shine in front of executive leadership, and to clear my head. I accepted gladly. Next morning I was on a plane out of town. As we climbed through layers of clouds, I gazed at the endless white and drifted away. Jason's favorite line was always, "What's the point of a woman clawing her way up the career ladder? Every female hotshot ends up divorced and miserable. A woman's real destiny is the family. Keep the home fires burning for her husband. Pop out a healthy baby boy. That's job number one." He'd pushed me to the brink of collapse again and again. The endless self-doubt, the internal tug-of-war, left my emotions raw and unpredictable. And every single time he dumped the blame squarely on me. My career hadn't soared high enough. My in-laws hadn't been pampered like royalty. Every last mess existed, apparently, because he'd married me. Thinking of that, then thinking of the new job and the new life rushing toward me, I felt nothing but gratitude, anticipation, excitement, hope. Before I powered down, I shot one more text to my lawyer. Please move on the divorce as fast as you can. The days that followed were a blur of new work. The client relations manager was a baby-faced guy named Leo. He looked boyish, laughing loud and wide every minute of the day. Yet on the big calls he showed more steel and foresight than anyone in the room. After a few weeks my opinion of him kept climbing. One evening Leo dragged the team to a bistro to unwind. I never expected to run into Jason and Stella there. These days Jason had let himself go, unshaven, wrinkled shirt, eyes bloodshot. I wandered the corridor to kill time. The next second, hot tea splashed across my face. Stella's finger jabbed my cheek as she shrieked, "Evelyn, how dare you sue Jason?" I bit down on a gasp and wiped tea leaves from my lashes. Why wouldn't I? You ungrateful witch. He bankrolled you for years. You should be on your knees, but instead you file papers. Do you even care what this does to him? I never knew you were such trash. I gave her a half smile, cold and cutting. Funny. I never knew you liked grazing in your own backyard. Stella, should I upload your bedroom acrobatics so everyone can study your technique? Oh, wait. Talent like yours is 1 in a million. No tutorial could replicate it. Jason had already been served. He'd seen the evidence. That security footage included. The words landed. Stella froze, scarlet flooding her cheeks. She twisted away, unable to look at me. Jason's face went black, but he couldn't summon a syllable. Instead, remorse oozed out of him. Evelyn, I was wrong. I've seen the light. We didn't come this far to crash now. Think twice about the divorce. Don't rush it. I snorted. Seen the light. Then why are you two lovebirds here together? Joint project, shared hustle, or a mini vacation, afraid to fool around back home where everyone knows you? He opened his mouth. Nothing came. Finally a mumble. I'm sorry. I'd lost count of how many times I'd heard that chorus. Jason, you're a smart man. Keep pushing and you'll be the only one who loses. Unwilling to quit, he clamped my wrist and yanked me against him. That once comforting scent now turned my stomach. His voice shook. Evelyn, you really don't love me anymore? Rage flared higher. Love? You ask that now. If you'd loved me, if you'd cared one damn bit, you wouldn't have lain in our bed holding me with one arm while sexting Stella with the other. Thrill-seeking, was it? Spare me the tragic hero act. It's hilarious. In the past, that speech would have sent him stalking off. This time he only crushed me tighter. Evelyn, I know you're furious. Just don't divorce me. Yell. Hit me if you want. He seized my hand and slapped his own cheek with it. In the scuffle, a male voice cracked through the hallway. Let her go. Jason startled. I wrenched free. Leo stood at the end of the corridor. Posture relaxed, but eyes like flint. Vance, you might want to remember we're in public. Young as he was, the authority in his tone backed Jason up 2 steps. Stella's laugh was ice. No wonder the hurry to divorce. Already found a replacement. Cougar Games. Evelyn, impressive. Jason hasn't touched you in ages. Has he? Got a little too hungry? My palm connected before I thought. Slap. 5 scarlet fingerprints bloomed on her cheek. Jason instinctively stepped between us. Evelyn, you hit Stella? 1 minute begging me back. The next defending his mistress with clenched fists. When Stella flung tea in my face he hadn't muttered a single reprimand. So much for a man's love that lives only on his tongue. After that evening Jason began shadowing me, waiting by the office curb at dusk. Sending bouquets and takeout I promptly dumped in the lobby trash. Blocking every number and profile he could still reach. Since the bistro incident Leo kept asking if I needed backup. I kept refusing, until the night I found a drunk Jason slouched outside my corporate condo in Denver's downtown. He looked wrecked, half half mad, jaw fuzzed with stubble. He spotted me from afar. As I approached, he pulled a box from his pocket. Inside lay the bracelet I'd coveted weeks ago. The one he'd refused to buy. With all the housework you do, you'll just scratch it. Such a waste. Now he waved it like a peace flag. Evelyn, I've cut Stella off completely. Forgive me, okay? Let's start over. He rattled the velvet jewelry box. See, pricey bracelet. Bought it on the spot. Isn't that proof I'm serious? I shook my head. The same steady no I'd given him 100 times. Jason, we're done. Whether your regret is real or staged, it's too late. The man who once anchored my heart had become the source of every sleepless spiral. The cruelest words in any language are, I'm sorry, spoken after the damage is done. What good is remorse to me now? I'd finally broken free. Finally stitched myself whole. Whatever happens, I'm not turning back. When I got home, I stood by the window for the longest time. Jason crouched beneath the street lamp, lost in thought, until the night security officer walked over, questioned him, checked his ID, and watched him slink away like a ghost. After that day, I didn't hear from him for a long while. Then, just as our project was wrapping up, my phone rang. May I speak to Evelyn? Your husband is in some trouble. We've detained him, and we'll need you to come in when you can. Only then did I learn the rest of the story. Jason had tried to break up with Stella. Stella refused, waived the receipts for the controlled medications he'd once bought for me, and threatened to expose him. Jason, even more disgusted, simply blocked her. In a rage, Stella dialed 911. Both of them wound up in handcuffs. I said yes, reluctantly, and promised to fly in the next day. On the third morning I landed, grabbed a cab, and went straight to the police station. Jason was already shackled in the holding cell. I gave my statement to the police and handed them the divorce papers. Then I walked into the visitor's booth. Through the thick sheet of glass, I saw him slumped on a metal bench. Our eyes met, and he forced an ugly smile. The officer slid the divorce agreement toward him. He stared at it in silence for a long time. Evelyn, I'm sorry. Stop saying that. I won't forgive you. I let out a cold scoff. If you really feel you owe me anything, sign it. The officer passed him a pen. He hesitated, his hand trembling so badly I could see it shake. Evelyn, if you'd just give me one more chance, I swear I'd never hurt you again. I cut him off. There aren't that many ifs in the world. If there were, I never would have married you. Those words were the final straw. His eyes flooded. With a bitter smile he scrawled his name. Evelyn, you're a good woman. You'll be happy. I almost laughed out loud. Instead, I kept my face blank. Don't worry, Jason. After the divorce I'm going to be happier every single day. The moment I stepped out of the police station I finally exhaled. The roadside flowers were in full bloom. The trees a dense green. Leo's Jeep was parked right beside me. He rolled down the window, that handsome face tilting into view as he grinned. Congratulations, Vance, new life, new you. I smiled wide. Hawthorne, our partnership has been flawless. Shouldn't you celebrate somehow? He curled a finger, motioning me in. How about this? I invite you on a cross-country road trip. I'll read you poems, take you somewhere far away. Deal? I'm a grown woman. I know what that means. One failed marriage hasn't killed my faith in love. I buckled up and gave a forward sweep of my hand. Let's roll. We headed for the desert, flew into Phoenix, Arizona, and the moment we landed a friend of Leo's delivered a Wrangler. He teased, think you can climb up there, shorty? I snorted. I'm small, but my legs are long. Then we both cracked up. We toured Grand Canyon National Park, studied the rock formation, the ancient petroglyphs, and hiked to Lake Powell. That night the desert sky surprised us with a riot of stars. Leo said, you know, the first time I saw you, I thought, there she is, the one. I lifted a brow. Good eye. But back then your home life was a mess. So I kept my distance like a proper gentleman. You were right. They say a gentleman earns his wealth the honest way. I say he earns his love that way too. Anyone who barges into a marriage waving the true love flag is just morally bankrupt. Leo nodded. Out there in the dunes, I finally understood. Birds of a feather flock together, in love and in marriage. People with different values never last. Still, the past is the past. Right then I wanted to be the wind to free. Present. Alive. We played hooky for more than 2 weeks and mailed Paula crates of local specialties. Somehow Paula heard about Leo and me. On the phone she said, I know that boy, Leo, the Scion. He's good people. Only then did I learn who Leo really was. He just laughed. Scion, please. I'm an ordinary guy. During that same call Paula told me Jason had been sentenced to 10 years in prison for illegal purchase of controlled medications. Among other charges, the pills, yes, including the ones he'd given me, had been smuggled into the country by Stella. She got 15 years. The two people who'd hurt me most were both locked away. Justice. At last. Later, Jason sent word through a mutual friend. He wanted to see me. I refused without a second thought. He's having a rough time inside, the friend pressed. He just wants you to send money. Maybe pull some strings so life's easier. After all, you were married. Surely you can do this one last favor? I laughed softly. Spare me the sentimental stuff. Where was all this marital affection when he and Stella were doing their worst? That friend called me heartless. I couldn't care less. I blocked every last one of them. 2 years later, on New Year's Eve, 24 hours before Leo and I were set to file for our marriage license, the prison called. Jason had terminal cancer, maybe weeks to live. Did I want to contact his family so they could post bail for medical treatment? His family. I thought about it. They'd practically erased him from memory. Who wants to brag about a relative behind bars? Funny. When he'd still been sending them generous checks, they'd paraded him as the pride of the family. Turns out the whole lot of them are selfish to the core. Not long after Jason died, Leo asked, "Want to visit the grave?" I shook my head. He's the past. What matters is the life we're building. Who he was. How it ended. None of it matters anymore. All I want is to seize this new beginning. We smiled at each other. Thanks for listening to tonight's story. If you liked this video, hit like and share it with a friend. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So don't be shy. And remember to subscribe for more amazing tales. See you next time.